Hi, my name is Mizuki. I'm currently a sophomore at Harvard and I'm studying government on the data science track, economics and linguistics.
And before we started working together, what resources did you feel like you had available to you or lacked?
In terms of resources that I thought I had available for me, I think it would definitely have to be more of my peer network. And I think that's harder once you get to the fit of recruiting season because at that point, all of your peers who was kind of your resources before are kind of going for the same exact position. So it's not exactly the same space as before. And so I think something that the program gave me was access to so many more opportunities that I didn't even know existed. Like I didn't know so many databases existed, had access to prep materials, things like that. And so I think coming from a non-traditional finance background, it was very, very helpful.
And when we first spoke and I walked you through my program, what about the way it was structured or the offer that I had made you compelled to join?
That it was extremely personalized. I think that you see online like a ton of different programs being like, this is how you break into banking, or this is how you break into VC or private equity. But going into the process, like I know a lot of kids had in mind, like I want to specifically go down a particular path, but I wasn't very sure on what I wanted to do. I just knew that I wanted to get some market expertise or some sort of company expertise, and like knowing that there was a personalization element, I think was super duper important to me. So in a sense, like I was able to learn and adapt as I went, and it wasn't overly rigid, which was something that I really appreciate.
And what would you say was the most helpful part of the program?
I think resume refinement and like I talked about like narrative refinement, but I think that works in tandem with like the resume and the mocks because first of all, like I had a bunch of experiences, but I didn't know how to specifically tailor or word them to fit like a traditional finance space. Or for example, like when I'm introducing myself in a mock interview and I'm thinking about how to present myself in behaviorals, like sure I could ramble on about my different experiences and what makes me who I am, but I don't think that I was able to fit it in a particular narrative. And I think the framing aspect of it, whether it was spoken or written, was super duper helpful for me.
And so, switching gears to your interview processes, can you just walk through like how many first rounds you got?
Starting maybe mid-January, I want to say like five or more first
Hmm.
rounds, and they were honestly ranging. Like I got some smaller banking at like Baird, Cantor, and I also got some capital markets at like Bank of America, KKR. I also got like institutional equities at MS, and so it was kind of a variety of roles. And I saw how a lot of those processes differ. But and then later on in the process, like D, Jane Street, a couple other places. But it's like most of the firms were actually quite different from one another in terms of like the
Yeah.
way that they structure their rounds.
And out of the first rounds that you took, how many converted into super days? And then talk through your offer that you accepted.
Technically three, but I only did two
Completed
super
two.
days. Yeah. And in my junior summer, I'm going to be working at D Shaw.
So, final question for you. If anyone was on the fence about working with me and joining, the structured program that I've built, what would you say?
I would say, like, if you're very serious about competitive finance roles, like having structure really matters. Like, you can't just improvise your way into like getting very strong outcomes. And it's not like coaching is like a replacement for your self effort, but it really amplifies it. Like, I know that I'm somebody who's typically type A, but like if I didn't have the structure that you were able to provide me, I know that I would not have been able to understand like half of the things that I was going through. So I would say like no matter how confident you are with your own skills organizing your life, I think it's super duper important that you have somebody to structure it from an external perspective because there's so many things I would not have realized about myself.